This is Chat Night Africa Live about to begin.
And when we
Chat Night Africa Live from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area.
I'm ready. I'm coming. I'm coming back.
I'm right here.
I'm coming back.
Right here I am.
I'm coming.
This is Chat Night Africa, your favorite program.
We're gonna get down.
On Facebook.
We're gonna get down. We're gonna dance.
Chat Night Africa Live. Matters that matter. Chat Night Africa Live.
I'm coming.
Production collaborators Emmanuel Wayindi
We're gonna dance.
and John Tanto Match Fire.
I'm ready.
This is Chat Night Africa Live.
I'm coming. I'm dancing. I'm dancing. We're gonna dance. We're gonna dance.
Chat Night Africa Live. Straight talk on matters that matter.
We're gonna boogie. Boogie woogie. We're gonna jam. Side to side.
This is Chat Night Africa Live.
It's dynamite.
On the show,
I'm ready.
we're traveling to Thailand.
I'm ready. I'm ready to get down.
On Chat Night Africa
I'm
Live,
ready.
we're traveling
I'm coming.
now to
I'm
Thailand.
dancing. I'm dancing. I'm ready. I'm coming.
I'm coming.
We're gonna dance.
I'm coming back.
We're gonna dance. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming. We're coming to get down. I'm coming.
I'm right
I'm
here.
coming to dance.
This is Chat Night Africa Live
gonna
from
dance.
Washington, D.C. metropolitan area.
We're gonna dance. We're gonna dance. We're gonna get down. We're gonna get down. We'll party. We party hard. We'll boogie. We boogie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Chat Night Africa Live. Let me ask you this. Do you realize why people take selfies? Let me ask you again the question. Do you realize why people take selfies? Well, every human being wants to capture a moment of their life in the brightest possible time. And when you take a selfie and realize that you were not smiling the way you thought was the best or is the best, what you do is you hit the delete button and very fast. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that human beings tend to want to tell their story to the world in the brightest light possible. Well, on the show today, we're about to meet a dynamite of a lady. She is joining us live from Thailand. This woman isn't thinking like the ordinary woman. In other words, she comes to Chat Night Africa Live platform not to do a selfie, in other words, to tell her story in the brightest possible light. She comes to you to share also her stories of failures. She is a woman who, by every measure, has succeeded. But the road, the path, wasn't all roses. I'm about to meet her. And I tell you, her story is riveting. Her story will push you to the edge of your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready for the trip to Thailand, I am. And let me see, I'm about to connect with our guest joining us from Thailand. You will love this show today. The story will touch you in ways unimaginable. Hello, this is my guest, Princess. How are you today?
Awesome, amazing, beautiful day.
And ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Princess Clayton Nkume Nkwene from Thailand.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a little bit, are there many Africans in Thailand?
Well, sort of, but you don't see them as many as you get to see them daily. But when there's a party or an event, of course, yes. You see them all over the place.
You have a story that's combustible. By the way, what's the time in Thailand now?
It's 7 a.m. Well, like 11 hours ahead of you? Yes.
Tell me a little bit, what took you to Thailand? I mean, that's thousands and thousands of miles away from Africa. How did you find yourself in Thailand?
Work and running away from what is happening in my country.
When you say your country, what do you mean?
Cameroon. So there's war, there's chaos, there are lots of things that are not very funny happening in my country. So, yes.
Typically, when people leave Africa, the destination is Europe or North America. And when you talk about North America, Africans generally want to come to the United States. That's why I ask
That's
you,
true.
how did you take a flight from Cameroon instead and go instead to
I'm not an
Thailand?
American fan. I'm really not an American fan. Well, I love to impart people with knowledge because they say knowledge is power, but I'll put it this way: knowledge is impact and authority when put to action. So you can get a lot of knowledge if you're not using it. It's just as the same as not having it at all.
Well, with your story, hopefully people will weaponize themselves with the lessons that they draw from your combustible, pointed story. Your story,
And
when I listened
purpose
to your
built.
story, it touched me. And I thought I should bring you on and share this wonderful life's story of yours. Now, tell us your story. People are waiting for this story. Now, break the calabashes full of secrets that you have. You promised me, break them open now.
Okay, so I'll start by telling people who I am. I'm actually Princess Clayton Kumekwene, Queen of Hearts and Smiles. I smile a lot. But then, this is who I am. I'm actually somebody who I vlog. I'm a talk show host, a TV presenter, and all that. But that's not really the main part. I do all these things just in a beat to get people believe in themselves, especially young adults, to believe in themselves and bring that best version of themselves because no one can do you like you. We're unique for a reason and a purpose, and we all have a solution to a particular problem. So you have to believe in you to be able to solve that problem. That's what I'm so passionate about. So, yes.
And what gives you the audacity to embark on this crusade of inspiring young people and encouraging them? What gives you the authority?
Because I've seen around, I have friends, family members, and all that. I've gotten to see how people go around. Sometimes people get to blame just about any other person, apart from looking at themselves. You are your own best solution. No other person can really be a solution for you the way you want it. You can be the best solution to yourself. And it's by looking at you, looking at what you're able to do, what you're capable to do, and start doing it. Then every other thing is going to pull itself towards you. Is it finances? Is it work? Is it wealth or whatever? When you're doing something that is needful, like you're solving a problem, everything is just going to pull towards you. It's that simple.
I have attended a lot of occasions, social occasions,
Okay?
and in these days of smartphones, people tend to do this, take a selfie. And
Oh,
usually
yeah?
when people take selfies, it's not to show the ugly parts of themselves. It's to show themselves in the brightest possible light. In other words,
That's
take a
true.
selfie and you think that you're not smiling properly, delete, 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 delete. In other words, people want to tell their stories as if they were Rambo, as if they were King Kong. They never failed anywhere in life. Tell us the story. That's what people are waiting for now. What's your story?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is my story. Like, I've been someone who is pampered and almost spoiled. Yeah, let me put it that way. Because my dad gave us like everything we wanted, even beyond. But then there's this one thing he always got to say to me that stuck to my head. He says, "Hey, young lady, I'm going to give you everything you need, but you have to work for yours, right? He kept saying that all the time. And that really stuck to my head. So when I lost my dad, like in 2007, that was a very bad year for me. I lost my dad, and then I had to continue schooling. I thought it was the end of the road for me because my dad was the one who was doing like everything for us. So I thought it was the end of the road for me, but I guess it wasn't. So when I left school, actually, I graduated from the university a year after, thanks to God and people who decided to support and sponsor me through. So I left university that year and I decided to start working. Of course, the normal thing that happens. You can't come out of the university and you're still dependent on family. You have to work, you have to support the family and stuff like that. So I had to start working. And I worked for like a few years, first at a print media company. I don't like things that are normal, like monotonous, just doing this every day, every day, every day, the same thing. I like unique, I like different, I like daring, I like adventurous. So I realized I couldn't work in the field that I studied in. We get to apply to the university, and whatever you're taking for, you just want to be in the university. So you're going to go for whatever you're taking for, whatever you're chosen for. So I did business management, which was fun all the same. But then when I actually graduated, I noticed if I have to be the best of me, I wouldn't really be that person in the management sector. So it will be something else. And then I just started working at the media companies. Very beautifully. First was a print media, later on an advertising agency, and then bam, for some reason, I had to end up at the radio. And the fun is the radio I had to work at, I wasn't going to work as a journalist. I was going to work as a personal assistant to the director. And this is me who was leaving a paid job, going to a voluntary job just because I felt like I really loved radio. I just loved media, totally and completely. So I went to the radio and started working, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're doing it great. It's lovely. Did you do journalism before and everything?" And I was like, "No, no, 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 I didn't." So why are you doing this so nice? And I'm like thinking to myself, if I have to be the best of me, then I have to do this well. But this is how I started working on the radio. So there was this day I come to work like every other regular day, and then I get to sit with my boss. I was his personal assistant, so I get to sit there, and all of a sudden he calls the guy who is on air and says, "Hello, I need to send you somewhere, and so Princess, go take over." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me right now. Like, take over on what? Like, I've never been on the radio before. I've never done something like that before." And he says, "You're going on air." No, you can't be serious. He was dead serious and he wasn't changing his mind. They do things like you can put music on, and then the person is going to continue with the music, and then life can go on and all that. But my director was not joking.
This is Chat Night Africa. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I had to go on air. Oh my goodness. I so blundered, totally and completely blundered that day. So I was taught two things: how to turn on music, turn it off, and then turn on the mic. Those were the only two things I was taught that morning, because it was like the first things I had to do, and it was kind of spontaneous. Nobody was ready for that and all. So I went on, turned on the radio, spoke for a while, and then decided in my heart that I love talking, so I should just go ahead and keep talking till the guy comes back if he has to. And you're not going to believe it. I actually turned off the mic, turned off the music, and I was so talking to myself for like 10 minutes.
Now, you thought that you were talking to people, but you had actually switched off the microphone. Now, you were put to talk to people on the radio. You never had any training. Nobody ever drilled you. And here you are put in front of the microphone to address hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh, yeah.
And then with the enthusiasm or what it is or what it was, you turned off the microphone thinking that you were talking to the people.
Oh, yes. That's what happened. And funny enough, or let's say faithful enough, the guy was coming back at that point in time. So he was listening to the radio on his phone, like the smartphones that were at that time. And he got in, places were quiet, but he could hear me talking, like in the studio, he could hear me talking. So he was wondering what was happening. So he came to me and then he gave me a tap. You know, when you're flowing and everything, you don't want distraction. So I thought he was like distracting me, and I was like, then I went on. And he said, calm down, young lady. Just look at the mic. And I turned and I noticed the mic was, oh God. I was so tense. I was so scared and so worked up. So I was like, okay, can you just get on? I'm done already. He said, no. The regular thing that you have to do is to turn on the mic, apologize to the people that there was a technical fault and all that before you go, and then I'll take over. Gosh, that was like, it was like I was just going to disappear from there. So I had to do it because he was not also joking, like my director wouldn't joke about it. So I went on, apologized, and continued again. That's how my radio life started.
Now,
It went on like that.
now stop right
Okay,
there. I'm going to ask you a few questions based on what you have told me.
go on.
Now, some people
That's
are
fine.
asking what the subject today is. Remember, on
Okay,
Chat Night Africa, I want to bring people with unique stories, people who have traveled extraordinary journeys with extraordinary stories, which can motivate people. Because sometimes when you face challenges in life, you
oh
think that
yeah,
you are the only person in that situation. People have walked down that path which you find yourself currently. And so when I can have people like the young princess connecting with me remotely from Thailand to come tell people her story, that's a wonderful thing to do. And there are lots of things, lessons we're going to draw from your powerful story. We're not done yet. The first question
sure.
I want to ask you, based on this
Okay,
segment of your story, is typically when people face challenges, they shy away. You could have made
yeah,
excuses, given 1,000 reasons why you couldn't go to the microphone to do what you've never been trained to do. Where did
yeah.
you draw? Where did you get this heart of a lioness from? That's very important
Well,
because in life, people get scared when they face challenges. That's why I'm asking you this question.
yeah, especially what they've not done before. So originally, I was asking myself before when I was refusing, because when my director kept insisting, I was refusing and I was thinking of possible solutions in my head, like, what if I fail? What if I go and I mess up? You know, all those things. And probably I failed because I was thinking of those things. So, like, if I fail, so what? I'm learning. That's how we learn. When a child is supposed to walk, right? When they start from the stage where they're crawling, they're creeping and everything, they get to stand up. When they stand up the fall, they still stand again. And that's how they eventually get to walk. So, what if I fail? Yes, I'm just taking baby steps like that. And I'm going to get it eventually because they eventually get to walk, right? So that was what was happening in my head. And then I knew the way my boss was insisting, I knew he wasn't going to let me go. So I had to do it. I had to do it. If he says something, if he starts telling you to do something, there is just some, I'm really grateful to him because there's just some part of him that believes that you can do it. So he's going to push you to do it. Maybe if you do it the first time and it doesn't turn out the way he thought, then he might just let you go, you know. But if you do it a little bit close to what he thinks you can do, he's going to so push you hard and you're going to do it. So I'm grateful for that, that he
Now,
pushes
let
me
me
to do
give
it.
you feedback. Um,
Okay.
Ma Rose Tanyam says, Princess, I have been down your path and it
Oh,
only made
yeah.
me stronger. I'm quoting Rose Tanyam, watching you from Maryland. She says, you know what,
Beautiful.
girl, go on. This inspires many people. She has also faced situations like that, which only made her stronger. Now, part two of your
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. So that I knew my boss wasn't going to let me off because he was going to keep doing that. Since I dared that day, he was going to keep doing it. And of course, I don't want to keep embarrassing myself. So I had to start learning. I wasn't just sitting there anymore. I would go look at what the other guys were doing, how they do it. And that was the last day I made that mistake. That same day I made that mistake was the last day I made the mistake. If I didn't try again, how would I have known that I could do it?
So what else
You
were you
know?
doing apart from? Continue from there.
So when I got there, I decided to start doing business because it was a voluntary thing. So I could not really just stay there and not earn anything. Of course, I'm a graduate from the university. I can't just be doing that. So my mom used to make donuts and peanuts. I started learning how to do peanuts, peanut burger. So it's like this groundnut coated with flour, milk, and sugar and stuff like that. So they call it in Cameroon peanut burger. So my mom used to do that for business purpose. I started learning how to do peanut burger for fun. Then I realized that it was making good money. So why not get on it? When I got on it, this is what I told myself. This is business. Thank God for my director actually. So he understood. So he allowed me to do my business and then come to the radio when I could because I became fond of the radio so much, going on air so much so that we created a program, something to sing about. My kid sister and I, Alvana, we created a program, something to sing about, and this was giving people to tell their stories, just like I'm telling mine on Chat Night Africa, so that people can get inspired, people can get pushed to do what they do. So this is what I used to do. When I noticed that was making good money, I decided I'll wake up in the morning for a normal day and then I'll do peanut. So my mom had to give up on the peanut burger and then do just donut. I'll do peanut and donut. And I tell myself, who goes to their office looking shabby? Because everybody, it looks like almost everybody has this idea of if you're hawking, like you're selling around, carrying stuff on your head or something like that, or in a bucket, you have to look shabby. I don't know who gave people that idea, but well, I had to do mine differently. I wasn't going to look shabby going to my office. That's what I said. If that's what is making me money, it's like a job. So I can't go to my office looking shabby, right? That's not funny. So
Now,
I'll
let me,
dress
let me, let,
beautifully.
let me ask you this. You graduate from
Okay.
university,
Mm-hmm.
you are becoming a superstar on radio, very articulate as you
Yeah.
are. People are saying, hey, this woman is so articulate. And then
Yeah.
you take on selling peanuts, peanut butter,
Yeah.
and donuts in the streets. What were
Yes.
people, what were the reactions coming from your peers? How did they react
Lots
to
of
you?
people, lots of people were surprised. Some people used to laugh me to scorn. And the fun is, these people who laugh at me could be my friends and people like that, and they'll end up coming to borrow money from me. That's the funny thing about life, like people are laughing at you, but when you keep at it, they see how successful you are. They come back to you for help. So my friends were like, "What are you doing? You're a graduate. Why are you walking in the street with peanut and donut? Where should I be? At home, grumbling, pointing fingers, complaining?
Well, what
No.
should you do? What many of your age mates, classmates, graduate from the university would do is run around, sleep with men, have sex with men to have money.
Yeah.
Why
Okay.
didn't you
Some
go
used to
that
do that.
path? Why didn't you go that path?
Um, very, 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 very costly, like priceless. I'm a priceless jewel. And priceless jewels are not just cheap. You don't see them that. Like most of the priceless jewels are in the vault. People just look at the picture of them. They don't even see them and they pay the price. So sometimes I get really, really irritated, if I should put it, when some people go like they're in a relationship and they're like, well, I want to taste, I want to know what I'm getting into, I want to know how I'm getting this lady or something. And I'm like, so what about the gold and diamond that are in the vaults that you just see a picture and you pay for it before it gets to you? That's me. So I'm not gonna go cheap. Cheap is
Okay,
expensive in the end. Yes.
so
So
you decide to ignore the scorn, the
yeah,
ridiculing coming from your friends, to go
yeah,
around, we're superstar on the radio, to go around selling peanut butter on your head, carrying the bucket and selling donuts.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
remarkable.
Peanut and
What were you
donut.
trying to teach people? What were you trying to teach your peers?
I was just trying to teach people this. Whatever you want to do, put your all into it. Love it. Make it a way that is comfortable for you to do it. And it's going to be fun. When they were saying all that, it was strange to me because I was having fun while I did. This is the point. I love talking. And I'm going to meet a variety of people every day when I go to the market. And so, of course, I'm going to have fun. That's my idea of fun. So I don't know what their idea of fun was. I guess they didn't see it that way. So I'm going to have to talk to a variety of people, get their opinions about life, because that's what most people used to call me to ask. They were not really calling to buy per se. Some people will call me and they'll want to ask me why I'm dressed so nicely and I'm carrying a bucket of peanut and donuts. Funny society, right? Who should be carrying a bucket of peanuts and donuts? Someone who's looking shabby. Yes? You know, that's not how it's supposed to be. These people are making money. So if money is being made there, of course, I should be able to do that business as well.
Well,
Straight
your
enough, I
friends
studied
laugh at
business
you.
management, right?
Your friends, your peers are laughing at you, but in the night, they come for you to lend them money.
Yeah, to lend them money.
All right,
Some of them will
continue
ask
with the
for help
story.
from me.
And the
Yeah.
reason why this
So
story is very important, as I said earlier, is because there are people, especially out there in Africa, who find themselves in your situation just a couple of years back. And your story could inspire them to believe in themselves, to find dignity in labor. And you say that you didn't care because that's what paid your bills.
Sure.
Go ahead with the rest of the story. I love this story.
And than to take the easy way out, I'd rather work for it. I find pleasure when I'm earning because I deserved it. I worked for it. I earned it. It's not like I just go the easy way out and get what I have to get. Of course, it's not like guys were not talking to me. I'm beautiful, sure. So they were talking to me, but I wasn't going to be the cheap kind of person. I was going to be the bold kind of person. So I go around selling, and at some point, I didn't need to go around because I had a lot of clients who would buy in bulk. So by the time I'm making the peanut burger for that day, I've already made enough just to distribute for people who place their orders. So I didn't need to go around selling again. But then I had to increase. Yeah, because
this is Chat Night Africa, and we're connecting with Princess Clinton Nkume Kwene from Thailand. She's talking to you now, live from Thailand. Heads up, next Wednesday, 12 noon, Washington, D.C. time, we'll be talking about money matters. You don't want to miss that subject. Money. The money that's supposed to be a source of comfort and pleasure can very quickly become a source of pain. Why? How can you make money work for you? We will talk about very controversial questions on Wednesday. On the 1st of May, save the date, we have Mr. Gatete Ruhumuliza to connect again from Kigali. This guy came here last week and blew up the place. You want to listen to that Rwandan? He'll be coming back again on the 1st of May, 12 noon, Washington, D.C. time. Now continue with the rest of your story. People are waiting to hear you.
I can't wait. Okay, so while I was doing this, I had it at the back of my mind. If I have to be the best of whatever I'm doing, which people have been encouraging me to do, which was radio, then I have to be the best at it. So since I had no theoretical knowledge in it, I decided that I should go get a little bit of theory. And fun enough, I did go get my theory out of Cameroon. That was in Ghana. While there, family wasn't so comfortable about the fact that I'm going to an African country instead of Europe or America or something like that. So they were like, oh, we're not into this. We're not going to support it and everything. Peanut burger still saved the day in Ghana. I wasn't going to stop. I was just unstoppable when it came to my peanut burger business.
Now, let me ask you another question, because that's very important.
Yeah.
We in the United States, you sit here and family members, even those of you in Europe, family members say, send me some money for business. Now, you decided to do peanut butter and donut. There were people selling peanuts. What made yours special?
Mine, I stick to
How
quality.
did you stand out? How did you stand out?
Mine was quality. And then more so, that's what I was saying. It was different because everybody was like, if this girl is this neat, then her stuff would surely be great. It could even be that I just mimicked being neat so that I should sell my stuff. But that sold for me because people wanted to know why I was looking so neat. They used to ask me all the time, why are you dressed like this and you're carrying a bucket of peanut? And before they had to ask me that question, of course they'll buy, right? They can't just call me to come stand there and they're asking me why I'm looking so neat. So they
I
went
tell you what.
online.
I tell you
Ask
what.
me question.
I will come meet you to buy anything you sell. You know why? Because of the experience. Because of the experience. Your
Yeah.
personality. You light up like Christmas tree. That's the
Oh,
difference.
thank you.
That's the difference. For those of you who want to do business, if you want to do business, you have to stand out. If you're just going to
Yeah,
do things the way other people do it, well, you'll be better up in just a few months. I think that's
definitely.
it's your attitude, your passion, because passion is not taught. It's your
In
passion,
school.
your attitude, the way you talk to your clients that made you magnetic. You became like a lightning rod. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. And that was still what made the difference because when I went to Ghana, studied, I did my master's. That was in journalism and mass communication. It was quite easy for me because I'd done a little bit of practical. So when I came back again, because for some reason, I just love my country and I always feel like I want to give back to where I've been given so much, you know. So I came back again to Cameroon and then I decided to continue again with my peanut butter business. People kind of tried to discourage me. I noticed it. So I didn't even need to be told. I noticed that it's like a lot more people had gotten into the peanut butter business. So people tried to discourage me, saying that it's not even important. More so, you have a master's degree. Just get a job. What is this about? Of course, what I was getting, some people won't get that even in a month as their monthly salary. What I'll get like in a week, sometimes in a day, it won't be people's monthly salary. It was way, way more. So I don't know why people were just so bent about going to work at an office or something, but I was still working at an office anyways. But it's about you want to earn something, you know. And so, would you rather do a business that can make you that in the shortest time possible, or you go and sit and be working for some other person?
Well, I discovered
Meanwhile, you
that
can work for yourself.
from what you say, there were
Yeah,
naysayers, negative people. What have you
a lot
learned
of
in
them.
your life about hanging out with negative people or not hanging out with negative people? I mean, you want to do something, either people want to do, I mean, there are people who have dreams in
Yeah,
them. But
yeah,
what's holding them back is the company they keep, is the company they keep. As somebody wants to get into IT and people start telling you, oh, no, 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 don't go into it. They discourage you.
yeah.
How did you get past people, your friends who were seeking to pull you back, to discourage you?
The fun thing about me is when I set my mind to do something, I do it regardless of who is saying what. You know, it doesn't matter. Then there was someone who had gone into business and everything. They're not done it practically, but they had studied business to like I think masters. They had a double masters in business, and they told me, so it's like they were supposed to give me some amount of money for some reason. I don't know what it was. And then I said, okay, just give me the amount of money. I really don't want to do that thing. I want to go into business. I want to actually go increase my scope in the business because it was doing fine, you know. So he was like, I studied business. And what are you trying to say? You've studied it. I've done the practicals and it works. So I'm better off than you who studied it and you're not doing anything with it. I am already practicalizing it. So people are going to say a lot of negative things about you. And the truth is, when you see those kind of people, run away from them. Like the statement goes that if you have six wise people, if you get connected to five wise people, you're going to be the sixth wise person. It's true. The people you hang out with matters a lot. So I did my best to always not be around those people who were telling me, no, you shouldn't do it. You can't do it. There was a time I remembered one of my friends said he wanted to take me out. He was a guy. And he said, please, you have to keep the bucket. And I just told him bluntly, you would have to buy everything in the bucket for me to keep the bucket so you can take me out. And that was not supposed to mean that I'm going to stop my business, because the following day, if you still have to take me out, the same thing is going to repeat itself.
Well,
I wasn't
I
going
had
to
a
be
comment.
dependent
I had
on
a
people.
comment for you. There is
Okay.
somebody in Maryland. Pastor Sanchez says, Divine, can you give me your guest number? This is the woman who should marry my son. I told you.
That's interesting. Okay. So, of course, I couldn't do that. And so I had to consciously get off people who were saying all those negative things to me, so it doesn't get
And
to
if you
rub
like
on
what you are
me
watching,
and run me
if
down.
you like what you are watching, please share this video. People need
Oh, definitely.
to be taken to higher levels with this kind of motivational, articulate person. Go on. Come on, girl, go on.
Oh, yeah. So when I came back from Ghana, after doing the business, I came back and everybody was like, oh, you're not going to be able to do it this time. A lot more people are into it. You know, it's going to be tiring. It's going to be strenuous. It's going to be stressful. But still, as always, I still get to talk. I love talking. I love relating with people. And truth is, going to Ghana, I had some connections from people I sold peanut burger to.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was networking. Yes, I was networking. In the whole process, I was networking with a lot of different people. And sometimes people got to realize that I was a person on radio. And they could not reconcile while I'll be on radio and I'm selling peanut burger in the market, you know? Like, you get hugely paid at the radio as what people think. So why would you be selling peanut burger? That was
But they didn't know what you were after. You see,
of course, they didn't know.
This is you, somebody with a master's degree in journalism and mass communication, a superstar on radio, selling peanut butter and donut, but you knew the secret because you were networking. It opened the doors to people. And because of your attitude, because of your passion, people only wanted to buy peanut butter from you. So
from me,
you carved out a niche right there, girl.
Of course.
Go on.
So when I came back, I started doing it again. Everybody started coming back to me. Like, so people were surprised. Like, Princess, what do you do? And I kept telling them, whatever you want to do, put your all into it. This is how you put your all into it. Don't negotiate quality. For whatever you're doing, don't negotiate quality. Every freaking human being loves quality. Every one of them. That they can't pay for it is another thing entirely. The truth is, I would rather reduce the quantity and stick to the quality than reduce the quality and increase the quantity. I always used to tell my clients that. And so they would complain sometimes, but they would still choose to order from me.
I want to share something. I want to share something with you. One of my favorite teachers, lecturers in journalism, is of blessed memory, Luke Ananga. He used to call me my son. And he always told me this. He said, my son, whatever you do, be the best in it. Challenge yourself.
Perfect.
Never get complacent. Always strive to be better the next day than you were the previous day.
Yesterday.
The difference will always be felt. Yes, so you are here with master's degree, selling your peanuts. What happened next?
Yeah, so I went on doing peanut burger and everything. Then I was like, no, this is really not working, because it's not just about me. If it's just about me, I could actually stay there in Cameroon and have fun and enjoy life and go on. And everybody was going to keep thinking that I'm getting paid like hugely, these huge sums of money at the radio, which I wasn't because it was voluntary. But I had family as well. I had siblings. I had some younger ones that I also had to support somehow. Of course, I've been to the university and everything, so I need to support the family. So I decided, okay, I was going to travel out to do something better, to save more, and then probably be able to help the family. So that got me to Dubai.
Princess, before you tell us where you traveled to next and what you went there to do, what you were effectively doing, which is going to blow the minds of people, you say something that got my attention. You said after you went to Ghana, had your master's degree in mass communication and journalism, you wanted to give back. Giving back isn't what Africans are known for. Africans are known to grab, hoard, get more things, get from other people,
Yeah.
and
Me,
then climb
myself,
on
and
the
I.
mountain top for other people to look up to them and worship them. So what is this about giving back? Where did you learn this from?
I learned it from my dad. That was how my upbringing was. And more so, I realized that giving is a blessing. And giving is actually it gets a ripple effect. It's like sowing seeds. And when you sow seeds, of course, they get to grow. When you sow a seed, it doesn't come out just a seed. It comes out with ripple effect. So, of course, giving back was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like that was the best way my dad brought me up that happened to me, because at every point in time I had that at the back of my head. I need to give, I need to do this, I need to do this for this person, because when you're actually giving back, you see the smile on people's faces. It's just outright amazing, considering the fact
So,
that I'm the queen of hearts and smiles. Of course I want to see smiles every day.
so you leave Cameroon again. Where did you go to?
I went to Dubai.
What for?
Strange enough, I was going there. Most people who went there or who gave me the idea of going there told me you can actually be a sales agent. Of course, I was going to love that because it was going to entail me talking to people, meeting with people again, like I love. But when I was going there, that was not the opportunity I had. I had an opportunity to be a nanny, like nanny, taking care of kids and stuff like that. But then I was
Well,
supposed to take care of this 8-year-old girl.
well, nanny, just so that people know, a babysitter.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, babysitter. Oh yeah, good. Like house help, taking care of a child. So yeah, that's what I went to do in Dubai. So when I got there, my boss was a woman, and my boss's husband had this really amazing company. So he was like, he felt uncomfortable. Like, don't tell people you're a nanny. When they ask, don't tell them you're a nanny. Tell them you're my personal assistant. Of course, I was actually doing the personal assistant job, but that was not where the money was coming from. The money was coming from me being a nanny. So, why am I supposed to be uncomfortable about what I'm doing? Just make it fun enough for you, and you're going to love it and be proud of it. If you don't own it, you're not going to be able to confidently tell someone this is what I'm doing. So every time I get into any particular job, I find it fun and interesting because I make it that way so I can go on with it. So this is me. This is what I told myself in being a nanny. I said to myself that I wouldn't want a house help regardless in life, in future. I want to be a good housewife and a working class housewife as well. So how would I get through to that? Sometimes people go to school to learn that, yes. But this was me going to do it practically, not learning it theoretically, because you pay to learn it theoretically, how to be a housewife, take care of a home and all that. But
There
I was
is,
doing it and getting paid.
hold it there. This blows my mind. I've always said that when life, and in life, there are times
Yeah,
that rocks will be thrown at your face. I've
definitely.
always said that in life, when rocks get thrown at your face, use those rocks as building blocks.
Oh
Now, that's what I learned from you, which is very remarkable. Now, you are a nanny,
yeah.
and the person you
Yeah.
work for tells you, please, when they ask you, don't say you're a babysitter. Say that you're my personal
Hmm.
assistant. You don't want to lie, go around lying to people. You don't want to live
No,
in borrowed robes, as many of us do. You want
not
to
at
tell
all.
the people the truth about what
Yeah,
you are doing. And then you,
yeah,
you, you flip that to mean training yourself to become a good housewife, to become a good mother, to know how to take care of kids. To me,
hmm.
this is remarkable. I don't know how it came about, how it came to your mind that you should convert quickly, very quickly convert this to get another meaning and be proud of what you are doing. Go on,
Of
girl.
course.
People are
Yeah,
watching.
so at each point, that's what I get to do. For any job that I'm doing, I get to look at the bright side of it. So this is me. Normally, people pay for that to learn, but this is me getting the practicals and getting paid because I was being paid for being a nanny. and a good sum of money, of course. So that was going to help me help my family members, my younger ones, like I desired to. So when I worked in Dubai for a while, I decided again to come back to Cameroon so that I can get to do business. Of course, if I want to start business, I want to start in a place where I can also help other people. I can help if I go industrial skill, because that's what I was looking at. If I go industrial skill, I'm going to be able to employ people. It should be in my country. Where else but in my country? That's where I also received a lot from family members, friends, and other people who contributed in one way or the other, as little as possible.
I'm going to ask you
In
another
my life.
question, Princess Clayton. I'm
Okay.
going to ask you, we have 1 hour
Yeah.
to do this.
Okay.
You are a motivational speaker.
Sure.
What areas interest you in motivating people?
Mostly say I do life stories like I tell my story like this, and then that will be a story for another day. I actually got depressed, relationship wise, that's social wise, so I get to still tell that story to help people
You want to tell us a
not
bit
to
of
get
it?
into depression.
You want to tell us a bit of it?
I guess I'll do that. Not to get into depression and how to get out of depression. So I'm doing a series on my YouTube channel. It's Clee and Mills, and also on my Facebook page, Royal Inspiration International. I'm doing a series right now. It's a series that's going on. It's ongoing, a dual series. How to keep away from depression and how to get out of depression. My journey out of depression. It's actually beautiful.
How did your relationships, and I'm assuming your relationship with a boy or so, how would that get you into depression? You want to tell us what happened? I mean, if you don't have to, but if you want to, that's fine. That way people
I
can
can
learn from
actually
your
bring it
story.
out somehow. Yeah. So,
Okay.
so I'm in a relationship, and of course, so with the getting out of the university, and you're not getting any younger, family stats on your neck, friends, everybody's on your neck. Like, when are you getting married? You're hardworking, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, you're that. When are you getting married? So I actually put a stated year. I wanted to be married and stuff like that. So I go on with, I get to meet this guy. Please, no one should get me wrong right now. There are amazing men out there. There are amazing pastors out there, but this one was not amazing at all. So I was in total shock, and that shock really lasted for a very long time. I didn't even know I was going to get out of it, but thank God for God, I got out. So I got into this relationship, and I was like dead sure this was it. This is going to just end up there. I'm going to get married, and it was like everything was happening when I planned that it was going to happen. So we're in a relationship, and then I have standards. Every human being should have standards. So I have standards, and I'm assuming, because this is a pastor. So if I'm a Christian and I'm a pastor and I'm a child of God, our standards will definitely be the Bible, right? So there are things in the Bible that I no go. There are things that are allowable, of course. And then the pastor guy is going to be betting with me, get on a bet with me. Like, of course, we're going to go as low as this standards to get you, to get to marry you. Of course, those were the parts of the things that I said I wasn't going to allow myself do, because my value was going to drop. If I'm in the vault and you just have to get me from the vault, life is a risk. So too is getting married. It's a risk. You can't get to be able to avert all the risks like from the start. So getting that piece of gold in the vault, and the one that maybe you just see in the street, like the gold plated stuff we get to have, someone's going to think this is it. And then you get that just in the street. You can touch it. You can look at it. No, I wasn't going to be the one that they're just going to touch and touch and touch and keep.
Now, what is it?
In the vault.
What is it in your relationships experience that you would not wish happened to other women?
Oh my goodness. Don't lose yourself. Don't.
What do you mean?
Don't. Like, I used to be this person that was all over the place. Like, I love talking with people. I love relating with people. The guy didn't want that. So I had to stop. And it was killing me slowly, but I'm in a relationship and I want to keep the relationship. So, of course. You don't. At some times, we used to get, my program was a calling program, so there's this situations where sometimes maybe the phone in the studio is not working, it's not compatible. So once in a while, you might get to use your phone. People out there don't really know if it's your phone or not, but they just get a new number. Like, oh, today this is the number we're going to use and stuff like that. So the guy was like, no, 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 don't use your number. I had to change my number like that. So there were just lots of things I was changing about myself totally because the guy wanted me to. Don't do that. Don't do that. If they're bad things, I'm not saying that if you have a bad character or a bad attitude and this guy is telling you to change, you shouldn't change. No, you have to change. We don't want bad attitudes in marriage. We don't want bad attitudes in relationships. So you need to change. But if there are things that are you, like this is me, I'm a lively person, I love to interact, I love to network, I love to connect with people, and you're telling me don't do that, it's funny, like it's like losing me.
If I understand you, you are saying
Yeah.
some men tend to be very controlling. Is that the point?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So,
And it makes them less trusting because they should be able to trust you enough to know you're not going to be all over the place, you know. You're not going to be all over this place. It was almost as much as he didn't really want me to work in the radio anymore. Like, I shouldn't do that. And that's me. Like, media is me. How can you just come into my life and you're like, I shouldn't do that? No, it's not
was
possible.
the
So don't
person
lose
abusive?
yourself in a relationship.
Was the person abusive?
With words, yes, at some point. At some point. When I wasn't going to bend totally to all that he wanted and everything, of course, he'd start insulting. And so when I said I got abused in the relationship, a lot of people got it mixed up because they're not seeing physical bruises. A lot of people are aware of physical abuse, but are not aware of emotional, financial, and all that. All those other kinds of abuses are there,
Let me ask you another
which I
question.
received.
What is it
Okay.
that women should avoid when they are in relationships, or they should watch out for before they get into relationships?
Good. That was the one I wanted to say. So you'd rather check before getting in than getting in and then wanting to get out because it's difficult when you're already inside and you want to go out. So this is
Check
what I
what?
say. Set your standards, right? And ask questions. Most of the times in Africa, we believe that asking questions, if a lady is asking questions to a guy, she's asking the guy out. And someone asks, so why not even? And but this is it. So ask questions. So for example, I I am a Christian and I believe in marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled. So I'm not going to have sex with you until I'm married to you. So I tell the guy, what's your take on fornication? Ask that from the beginning. So if his take on fornication is like, it's okay, you have no business being in that relationship. No matter how much you have these butterflies running in your tummy, you don't want to get into trouble because if you get into the relationship and you can't give him that, it's going to start being a drag. You're going to start fighting. You're either fighting with yourself or with him, like, this is what I want, you don't want to give me, and you say you love me. The truth is, sex is not love. If sex was love, prostitutes should all be married because they give a lot of sex. Yes. So it's not true. So you would have to be dealing with that kind of thing in the relationship all the time. Like they're asking you back and forth. You guys are going back and forth with that. So if you have the opportunity of asking those serious questions from the beginning, ask, what about money? What's your take on finances? Are you an active spender or a passive saver, or an active saver and a passive spender? Which are you? Should we just eat the money today and forget about tomorrow? Who are you? Ask those questions. Ask serious questions so you know where you stand. If the person tells you, from the person's answer, you're going to know whether you should be in that kind of relationship or not. Those are the kinds of things I'm talking on
Now,
my
if you're
YouTube
asking
channel and my
people,
Facebook page.
if you're asking women to ask questions
Yeah,
about what direction they want a relationship to go, if you are
yeah,
suggesting women to do that, I imagine
yeah,
that it's because some women are not doing it. So why are some women not
yeah.
asking these questions? Why are they not asking?
I didn't even ask questions. Most people won't ask questions because they get to assume a lot of things. So like I said, this was a pastor I was getting into a relationship with, right? So I just automatically assumed that we both have the same standards, which is the Bible. But then when he started bringing things that were out of the Bible, I was like, oh, Wow. So I didn't ask questions originally because I assumed. And in the assumption, I gave him a blank check. You say things like, I'll do anything for you when you're on cloud nine, like you're in love, totally in love. You can say those crazy things and you get into trouble. What if he wants my mom's head? Am I going to give him my mom's head? But I've given my word. I like to keep to my word. My friends who know me, they know that. So if I tell you I'll do anything for you, then anything you ask, of course, it's a blank check. Because I assumed, without asking questions, I gave this guy a blank check, which led me into trouble because I was torn between keeping my standards and keeping my word. Because I assumed.
Let me tell you, let me share a few things about
Okay.
pastors. I mean, there are great pastors out there. There are great priests
Yeah,
out there.
they are.
But you never ever follow anybody without asking questions.
Oh yeah.
If you
Never.
do not, because I see some really, really lousy stuff on Facebook. I see Christians washing their heads with
Yeah. The pastor
detergents.
washing his feet on
Yes,
people's head. That was the
and
one that
and
went viral recently.
and some pastors laying their hands on the private organs of women, pretending that they're
Oh yeah.
praying for the women to become pregnant.
Oh yeah.
My God, how does somebody get you to just follow him like a sheep? Now, let me tell you this. It's not because somebody has a reverend before his name or has gone to a theological
Yeah.
seminary that's a Christian. And people
Mhm.
ought to be asking questions, even if it's politics.
They should.
You don't follow anybody without asking questions. If you do, very soon you will be eating grass outside like goats because you've been told
Definitely.
to do so by a so-called man of God. Continue.
Yeah. And I would say that it also boils down to you studying the word of God because most times this is what happens to some people. This is what happens to a lot of people. Because you've not seen that in any place, you've not read it anywhere, you've not been able to study about it. So when this man of God comes with whatever he's saying, it looks like it's the top-notch revelation. So you just want to go with it. This is what God is saying this season at this time. But if you study the word of God yourself and you have a personal relationship with God, of course, you're going to know this man is just playing you around. You're just going to know he's playing people around. But
And,
because
and, and,
you've
I, I,
decided
and
not
I
to
hear
study,
people, some pastors come
yeah.
and say, the Lord has told me this. The Lord just doesn't
Oh,
talk to pastors.
yeah.
The,
He
the, the
talks to
Lord
you
the
as an
Lord speaks to
individual.
everybody.
Everybody. So if it has to concern me, that's what I always say sometimes because originally that's what we used to get. So a pastor guy is just going to come to you. The Lord spoke to me and said, "You're my wife." Oh, really? It's about two of us. The Lord should speak to me as well. I should be able to hear God. It concerns me and
Hey, look,
you.
listen,
I'm not
princess,
a
princess,
second class
listen,
citizen.
princess, listen. And
Okay.
I'm saying this to women, if a guy comes to you and say, the Lord has told me that you are my wife, respond that the Lord has also told me that you cannot be my husband.
Please run away. Run away. Sometimes we really need to run away. Seriously. You're not a second class citizen. If God is talking about marriage and you're involved, let him talk to you as well.
Now,
He
what's
talks
your
to
last
everybody.
word on the on our show today? It's a 1 hour show. What's your last word?
Okay, my last word is going to be this. Believe in yourself. You have all it takes to be that best person that should be on planet Earth. And look for anything that is a need based. When you produce solution to need based activities, you would actually get a lot running to you. Wealth, everything. Life is going to be beautiful. Life is just going to be beautiful. So put your all into everything that you're doing. Give it quality, give it your all. I love Joseph. At every place he was bringing himself. That person who is going to lead, that person who is going to lead. And he kept leading in every place. In prison, he was leading. In Potiphar's house, he was leading. And so leading was just easy for him, and he eventually had to lead. So put passion to whatever you're doing. Like you just said, passion is not taught in school. So it's there, it's on the inside of you. Bring it out, put your all into it, Give quality to everything that you're doing. Don't settle for less, and you're going to be amazing. I'm a living testimony, so I can talk about it confidently.
And you've been watching this dynamite called Princess Clayton Nkumenkwene. You can get her on Facebook. She's a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
She encourages people with her private life, where she failed, where she succeeded. You can reach her through Facebook, and she's connecting with me now remotely from Thailand. How are the people in Thailand, by the way?
The people in Thailand are interesting. Some are welcoming, some are not. Well, there's a little bit of racism sometimes, but you can scale through it.
This is what we have. This is what we have coming up. This Wednesday, 12 noon, Washington, D.C. time, we have a special that will be about money. Money, 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 money. If money speaks, if money speaks, what is yours saying? If money speaks, what is yours saying? Now, Patience de Cuba says, we want you back on Chat Night Africa. All right, you will be coming back.
Thank you.
Save the date. We have a volcanic broadcast on the 1st of May. That will be the first Wednesday in the month of May. I will be connecting remotely with somebody from Kigali. Mr. Rupo Moliza Gatete is coming back. That guy was a dynamite the other day. He came on Chat Night Africa. All right. And so, did you have another word? I mean, there are people just saying, wow, wow.
I know some people might want to get to follow. So on the comment section of this video, I'm going to actually put their name. Like, I'm going to tag my Facebook page, and then I'm going to put my YouTube link. So I'm sure if you want to connect and follow on the series, because I give a lot of tips on there, if you want to connect and follow, you can get to follow us so that we can learn together. We learn every day. I'm learning in the process while I'm also helping people.
Thank you so much. And that's how we go. That's how we go. That's how we go. That's how we go.
Yeah.
And that's Nice.
Oh, thank
That's
you
been
so
nice.
very much.
All right. Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.